Today I'm taking you to Papa Stour. Papa is an island that sits a mile off Shetland's west coast, and tours to the island are run by Summerdim Charters, who very kindly invited me along for a day trip to the island. The 10-metre boat has an open deck, perfect for viewing or fishing, and a spacious cabin. She's licensed to carry 8 passengers, and bookings can be made easily by email by contacting John. I'll leave a link in the description of the video. As well as Papa, they also offer angling trips and shorter sightseeing trips around St Magnus Bay, including Muckle Row and Aishness. Good morning. Good morning. So we left for the Aid Marina, or 8th as it appears on the map, but generally John will operate these tours with Summerdim Charters from West Burrowford, which gives a more direct route. That orange top boat there is the 8th lifeboat, and there's been a lifeboat station here on Shetland's west side since the 1930s, and that protects water in and around the west of Shetland. We've also got one in Lerwick protecting the east side waters, completely run by volunteers. Is there anything better as watching the land slip away as you head off on an island adventure? I love it. We were lucky enough to have skipper John and crewmate Arnold on hand to answer any of our questions, and the boat, fantastic, lovely, spacious boat, but they were such a wealth of knowledge, and it was amazing to hear all their stories about the area. Okay, so technically I shouldn't be up here on the bow of the boat, but I did have on a life jacket. If you look up on the land there, there's 3 kind of mounds on the hill. That's part of the Vementry guns that were placed there during the First World War to protect the entrances to the channel here, where the 10th Cruiser Squadron were based. Skipper John shared fascinating stories about Papa. Most people just see a rugged coastline, but spending time with John allows you to hear all the stories of shipwrecks, smuggling, and the people that once populated these now small communities. This fertile and lush island had a peak population of 382 in 1841, but since the 1870s this has declined steadily to only a handful of residents. Papa is best explored on foot. Its extraordinary coastline is marked by caves, gyoes, gloops, which are sea caves where the landward end is collapsed, arches, boulder beaches and stacks formed by volcanic rock and ash and eroded over millennia. We We landed at the pier at Hamnavoe and John walked us along the mile or so tarred road towards the disused airstrip, pointing out the houses as we went. I have Papa connections. My great-great-grandparents on my mother's side came for Papa in the late 19th century. George Johnson, my great-great-grandfather, was born at Olligarth, and my great-great-grandmother, Eliza, came for the East Biggins, which is now an Airbnb. Okay guys, you've got to trust me here. See the sheep? They are chasing an otter, so if you look very carefully you'll see an otter that they're following down to the shoreline. Papa is wildlife rich, with summer colonies, Arctic terns and great skuas that take to the air and dominate the boulder beaches and moorlands in the west of the island. And the shoreline is an excellent place to see seals and otters, and whales frequently pass around the island. Throughout the summer, wildflowers are a vibrant splash of colour. For those who want to take a more leisurely pace without the long hikes, the North Stofa provides a great destination, as will the Papa Stour Kirk before too long. The 13th century North Stofa at Biggins, the island's main settlement, is a style of Norwegian wooden building made from log timbers and represents a unique style in Shetland where buildings, in the absence of wood, were built in stone. The Papa Stour Stofa is where Shetland's oldest document, dated 1299, was written, recording problems over collecting royal rents and taxes on the island, a vital possession of the kings of Norway who administered Shetland then. Today visitors can see the reconstructed stofa. The island's name comes from the Old Norse language meaning the great island of the priests, and the scattered remains of past people dominate the landscape. The island is geologically fascinating, formed from volcanic ash and lava, a real gift to hikers seeking the drama, allure and breathtaking vistas offered by this incredible coastline. The handful of permanent residents no longer have a school or a shop, and there are few facilities on the island for visitors beyond the ferry waiting room, although the deconsecrated church is currently undergoing redevelopment into a heritage centre for visitors. But despite this, Papa is an island that calls to be explored, offering endless hours of enjoyment along its rugged coastline. Just remember to pack a hearty picnic and a sense of adventure. The Papa Stour Kirk was built at the south of Biggins in 1806 and administered by the Church of Scotland. The church is now owned and run by the Papa Stour History and Community Group and has undergone renovation and development as a visitor centre and community hub. Once open, hopefully next year, visitors will be able to get refreshments, buy cards and gifts and view exhibitions. Once we got to the hill deck and the road end where the cultivated infields gave way to the open moorland used as communal grazing for sheep, John waved us on our way towards the island's west coast. For hikers, the coastline between Hamnavoe and Virda Field on the island's west coast is one of the best, and from Virda Field, which is the highest point of the island, you have panoramic views of the entire island. There are several options for walking depending on the time you have and the speed you can clock up the miles. This is such a rewarding walk, particularly throughout the summer when wildflowers add a vibrant splash of colour to the landscape, particularly on the cliff tops with candy floss pink thrift and rich blue squill contrasting with the red granite rock below. Shetland's best-loved poet Vagelant described how the smell of flowers in Papa leads fishermen back to their grounds in his poignant song, Sang in the Papa Mine. Setting off over the former runway, we joined the remains of several mail roads towards Hamnavoe. These roads were constructed throughout the Highlands and Islands in the 19th century, with the first being commissioned in the 1840s. Known as the Hungry Forties, this period was characterised by crop failures that led to famine throughout Shetland and the wider Highlands and Islands region. As a result, authorities ordered the building of roads and workers were paid in oatmeal or flour, known as mill. The enclosed bay of Hamnavoe was once an important trading area where Dutch traders landed goods. The nearby Dutch Loch takes its name from this trade, and several traditional horizontal water mills or click mills stand in ruin along the burn, fed from the loch. Throughout the island remains of former watermills stand as a testament to the population that the island once supported. We walked 8 miles around the dramatic west coast, including Kirsten's Hall and the new Kirsten's Hall. These are basically 2 holes in the ground where the inland end of a sea cave has collapsed, allowing you to see the sea washing in from above. We saw Asia Head, where we enjoyed views of Asia Stack, Foula Stack, Foula and Skerry, and on towards Virda Field. As you can see, it was a glorious spring day, perfect for walking, and the sky wore her best blue guise, contrasting beautifully with the inky blue sea and the rich red granite cliffs that dominate the island's west side. Look at that bit's about to go. Whole lot of it is. And yes, you guessed it, this is Old Kirsten's Hall, or just Kirsten's Hall as it appears on the OS map. So that's the original one, and you see similar structures if you are up in Aishnes. If you've done the walk up at Aishnes out towards the Halls of Skrada, it's the same kind of geological feature in the landscape there. Our time on the island had slipped away for us, and feeling like we could stay forever, we turned tail and headed back towards the airstrip, where we rejoined the road and headed back to John, who was waiting at the boat with steaming mugs of coffee. And as we sipped on hot drinks, Arnold slipped the ropes and John steered Wilma Jane back towards the mainland, and our magical day was over. Sitting gazing over the stern of the boat, I watched the sun kiss the hills of Foula in the distance, bathing its jagged peaks in a golden glow as Papa melted into the horizon. It was one of those rare, reflective moments, the kind that tugs away at something deep inside you. Papa is an island steeped in history, with many stories left untold. But John's passion for this island reminded me that Shetlanders never let their stories go, and in a world that often feels determined to tear itself apart, John's connection to this place and its people was a huge comfort. So with windburned cheeks that glowed against the gathering dusk, aching legs and a full heart, I stepped off the boat feeling both nostalgic and renewed, and more than ready to take on the next week. Our Sunday in Papa with summer-dim charters was the medicine I never knew I needed. So thank you to John and Arnold for the best day out in Papa.